In retrospect, you were one of the first rappers from up north to be inclusive of and to put on for Southern artists. Okay?
She's good, man.
So,
Listen, man, no, she's
we're
good.
talking about Cash Money, we're talking about Lil Wayne, we're
Damn.
talking about Pharrell.
And she's getting into particulars. Keep going, girl. Keep going. Keep going. I shouldn't have stopped you. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So, with that in mind,
Yeah.
you have, you're back as an artist, but
Right.
I'm curious to know if you plan on diving back into that sector of the industry on some A&R.
Nah, I always been an A&R. Always been my own A&R. But just to touch on the South thing, I always realized that West Coast people, South people, and East Coast people, we're all the same with just different accents. I used to go down south, and my grandfather, God rest his soul, he had a property in South Carolina. I forget exactly where, but I used to go down there. I'd be like, these guys is mad slow. These guys, they'll never catch up to my New York shit. And it took them 2 weeks, and they caught on to my shit immediately. And what I realized, they're just New York people with an accent. They're just, so I never looked at it like that. Like to tell you how the truth, how I got with Cash Money, I wanted to work with No Limit. I really wanted to work with No Limit. I was hawking Master P down. I must have been stalking this guy. And I had money, I was stalking him with money. So that's kind of awkward. It's like usually you stalking and you broke, you know what I'm saying? But I'm stalking to pay him, and I couldn't reach him. I couldn't get at him at all. And then one day, as I'm in New Orleans, because there's a lot, people don't know about New Orleans and Louisiana area. There's a lot of Latinos out there. But people just, they think gumbo, and they think, they just think, French Quarters, and they think, the French, but there's a lot of Latinos out there. So I had a lot of shows out there. Yeah, Caribbean. And so I had a lot of shows out there, and what happened was, one day I was coming through, and it was before It was like a BG record. A BG record was just playing, and then it was just, I think it was Turk, and then Then what you wanna be, And I had went to Angie Martinez, and I had just came from New Orleans, and Angie Martinez interviewed me. She was like, so what you doing, N.O.R.E? And I was like, yeah, just you wanna be, And she was like, what are you talking about? And then later on, they realized they was talking about Juvenile, but that had to open up the doors. But not only Juvenile, it was an artist on my label named David Banner. And I remember David Banner having so much problems with the label. And I remember me going from a $15,000 budget to a $1.5 million budget, and they wouldn't give him an extra $10,000. So I said, give him an extra $10,000 from my budget. I had no idea this guy is gonna turn into David Banner. I had no idea this guy was gonna blow up. It's just something that I did from my heart so that's how I discovered the South music. But when you ask me if I get into, I basically produce all my records, even though I don't touch a button. Like my new record, I know we're gonna get to that, but I basically gave Pharrell that speech. Like I need females to like my music. Like the one thing we did with the War Report, we got, I'm sorry females, but we had a pool stick audience. You know what that means? All pool sticks and no cubes. Nothing but men. And for 20 years, we still have females who come to the show and they'll come, but it wasn't the main point. So I figured after 20 years, maybe I should give the females something. But so my point of bringing it up was I directed Pharrell. I was like, yo, I need something that my mother would like to listen to. I need something that the females would dance to. And so I basically always felt like I produced my own records, even though I don't touch no buttons. You know what I'm saying? So.
You said that speaking on Uno Mas, right? Which I love. I wish you would have released earlier this summer.
I know everybody says that. Everybody says that.
Why is it the future, or why is it going to change the future? Because you said something like that.
Well, because in order to change the future, you got to change yourself first. So this is what I'm saying. It's like from the guy who made a record called Super Thug to Uno Mas. This is a total transition. It's something totally different. Like War Report fans will not think 20 years later that this guy would do that. But the thing about it is the War Report fans never knew that I wanted to be happy. Like, I was sad, and I was sad that I was broken. I was in the hood. I had no idea that there's 20 years later that there can be a promised land. There can be somewhere where, you know, I could, you know, fly out of Florida because I live in Florida and come to New York and just hang out for a week because Hurricane Irma and Harvey and Jose, which is felt like my cousin Jose. That's why he ain't do no damage. I told him to relax. But you know, it was like the transition is just like, it's something that I just wanted to embrace. I remember one time a person said to me, yo, that sounds like a N.O.R.E beat. I was so offended because why should you know or think you know what I like? I don't even know what I like. Like, I wake up in the morning, some days I'll eat a turkey.
Versions of you through music.
There's different versions, yes. But I want you to know that, I want you to know 90% of me. But that other 10%, 5% of it should be private, and that other 5% should just be like, guess it if you can. You know what I'm saying? So I just don't, that's how I am, you know what I mean? I just want people to always say, oh, okay, he's gonna do this. And then when you expect that, I do something totally different.